So the Escape from Tarkov developers showed off the new recoil system, which won't be in the August patch, however, it might be in the December patch. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so I think it showed off two different components of it. Let's start with the full auto component. Okay, now. Okay, was it here? Okay. Now, as it used to be, or as it is currently in the game, if you fire a full automatic weapon, usually the way it usually works, it starts from your aim point. Then about the third, second shot up to the 10th shot, depending on the fire rate of the weapon and other invisible parameters, I think, it goes up and then immediately sharply goes down again. And that system obviously was really defective because I think I made a video about it some time ago. If you shoot the PPSH 41 on full auto, you have a 35 round stick magazine. You would spend the first 9 rounds. The first one would hit on target. The second round, up to the 9th round, would go way above the target somewhere here, and then the gun would go down again, which means the first 25% of the magazine, you're basically shooting over the target no matter what you're doing. And if you would shoot the same gun on full auto, you would land the first 5 shots accurately on target in the same amount of time. Okay, so obviously it was effective because submachine guns and most automatic weapons couldn't use any type of accurate burst fire. Okay, now this appears to change it. So instead of this immediate loss of control after the first shot for a short amount of time, then going down, which almost seems like it's purpose-built to prevent you from doing burst fire, we have this system. I think the way it works is you gradually lose control of the weapon. So it means here the first shot, second shot, third shot, you gradually lose the control. Then at some point there's an upper limit up to which the gun cannot rise anymore. I think it's exaggerated here in terms of recoil because in real life you don't have that amount of recoil on an AK, I think. However, it's a better system than we have currently, which means you will be able to use full auto fire, to use, well, short burst fire, especially on submachine guns like the Cadder or the PPSH 41. And that would maybe be the first time in a game where these weapons actually will be viable in combat. Because currently, as the game is built, in a Cadder or even an MP5, there's almost not enough bullets in the gun, in a standard 30 round magazine, to do enough damage on the target. If you consider the target strafing around not to get hit, you trying to hit something on full auto, wasting the first 20% of the magazine. So I think it's a really good improvement. How I think they should reduce the total recoil, because in real life, guns don't have that much recoil. Okay, and the second thing I want to show, which I think is something interesting too, is what they do in semi-auto fire. Okay, see what just happened here. It's a really cool feature, and I think many games had it for many years. For example, some of the older Arma games even have that. You know what's happening here? You fire a shot, and the aim vector, which is basically the point your gun and your camera is pointing at when you press the trigger. The aim vector resets to some other point every time you fire. And I think it's a good addition. It's a small addition, however, it keeps you engaged as a shooter. For example, if you're shooting semi-auto, you fire a shot, and as it is currently in the game, you fire a shot, gun goes up, gun goes down. It usually goes down to the exact same spot, which means if you try to hit the same target with repeated single fire, all you have to do is just press left mouse and do it in the right amount of distance between shots so the recoil can work itself. But you're not really engaged. However, if you use this new system, then there's some... Basically, the end point of the aim point is not the same as where it was at the beginning. So there's some slight offset. And if you're shooting, it keeps you engaged because after every shot, you have to do some slight adjustments to the sight picture. Now, in close range, it won't matter much because close range fire is close range fire. But if you're shooting targets at a distance and you're shooting standing unsupported, then it's going to add some challenge to accurate fire. So you need this extra bit of finesse to hit the target. So overall, I think it's a welcome addition because I think the recoil system was so bad in this game that I mean, any improvement would have been welcome. And I think the developer also said in this video is that they still have automatic recoil compensation. So I think what they mean is that you still won't be able to stop the upwards creep with pointing a mouse down. I'm not sure why the lead developer doesn't like that. I think it would be a great idea to have some type of control when you're shooting full auto to push the mouse in the opposite direction to give you some of the feeling of trying to push the gun down.